I'm not 100% behind Fauci. I think Fauci made COVID way too political, and it caused a lot more problems than it helped anybody.
What about the WHO?
Again, the WHO, I kind of look at kind of like NATO. I don't think they were helpful during COVID. I think they were covering China and what they did or didn't do. So I'm not a big believer in the HMO doing the right things all the time. I think they have their own political bias. Everybody is biased. Everybody. You know, you're under universal health. I kind of believe in universal health, but the problem I have with it is politicians, doctors, insurance companies, and hospitals shouldn't be the ones that are deciding about health. And that's who's doing it now. And if we really went to universal health and gave as much money to universal health as we did to fighting wars, this country will be a better place. I have no doubt about that.
I'd agree with that.
There you go.
But I think that it's interesting that you would say that the politicians shouldn't have a say in healthcare, and yet.
Well, let me go back to Obama and Romney debate. I watched the Obama-Romney debate. I'm not sure you were alive, Harry, but I was alive for that. You were. Well, during that debate, I was absolutely convinced that I didn't trust either one of them to give a nice, comprehensive, universal health. And
so I'm just curious, like, as a healthcare professional, like, what governing body do you trust for information?
Well, I absolutely trust doctors. I had a little problem with the split with COVID, being doctors became very political, and doctors became very, it's either this way or the highway, you know. Ivermectin's a worm killer. It is a worm killer, okay? But you know what? Doctors were prescribing it. Nothing wrong with that. The other...
There's everything wrong with that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the malaria drug. But the malaria drug was fine, but it was politicized rather than tried. You know, I give it about 10 years, and it's actually starting now. But there's many, many people who believe the number of people we intubated, we kind of signed their death warrants by intubating them. And I know the reasons why they intubated them. Now, their O2 stats were low, but a lot of times, medical protocol, you learn from your mistakes. And maybe if we had only intubated half of the population, you know, 80% that got intubated died. And the easy answer is, well, they would have died anyways. We don't know that. If we had kept them on CPAP for an extra hour or two, it may have helped. I'm sure you know, once you intubate anybody, especially someone who has comorbidities, it's about the hardest thing in the world to extubate them. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you and I disagree a lot. I'll admit that at 72, I retired because I started treating residents as my children. And when I started treating attendings as my children, I decided it was time to retire. So I did. They're all still my friends. I see them quite frequently. In fact, I'll be visiting Mass General in February, where I retired from.
I want to take a, why do you think that Fauci was political? You keep saying that Fauci was made political. Don't you think he was made political by Trump?
No, he had nothing.
Really?
Trump had nothing to do with it. In fact, Trump trusted him way too much. Trump didn't seek him out. He was the head of it. He hadn't touched a patient in 40 years. And he lost all credibility with me when he wore 2 masks.
He's one of the most cited virologists in world history. I think he's in top 5. So this is somebody who knows his stuff. And just to be clear, Trump was the one at campaign rallies leading up to the 2020 election saying Fauci this, Fauci that.
Yeah.
How can you possibly claim that it was anybody else's doing except for Trump's for Fauci becoming political?
Fauci became a movie star, not a movie star, a TV star. He cared more about celebrity. Okay.
What? Wait.
Just that China lab, a lab in Wuhan, China, who's playing with the COVID virus, couldn't possibly be where it came. It came from bats. That was the first thing, red flag, that went up in my mind. Okay. He became a big celebrity, and he enjoyed it.
Wait, no, just think about what you're saying right now. You're saying that the top virologist in the United States, America's top doctor, going on shows to explain to the people, what's going on, the recent updates about COVID is a bad thing, that was him becoming a movie star. No. That was just him in the middle of a pandemic, a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, speaking to the people as America's top doctor. I don't know how you could possibly take objection to Dr. Fauci going into the media and speaking to the people.
I'm not taking objection going into the media. I'm taking objections to the things that he did that I don't think was in the best interest of the people. New York City was a great example. Everyone yells at Biden. Biden gave New York City a ship, a Javits Center, and 300,000 extra beds. And it wasn't needed. He gave them 18,000 vents, and they never used them. And instead, the mayor sent them back to nursing homes, which caused a lot of deaths. I'm not a vaccine denier. I was probably one of the 100 people that got their first Pfizer vaccine in Florida in January 6th of 2021. And I never got another one. And the reason why is 48 hours later, I had a left-pontine stroke and couldn't walk for a year.
I don't think that was because of your COVID vaccine.
I'm sorry. I just have to.
We had the discussion with the neurologist in primary care.
Hold on. Let Nurse Heather speak. Go ahead.
I mean this with all due kindness. You sound a little bit like a conspiracy theorist.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No conspiracies.
It sounds like you're diving into them pretty heavy.
What did I say about intubating and 80% dying, and maybe where's the conspiracy? There's no conspiracy. I suppose you probably love Sanjay Gupta. Now, I don't know Sanjay Gupta personally, but I know him, I've met him, and he's a doctor who goes on TV and talks a lot. And I will tell you, at least in America, most of the practicing providers don't really think the people that are on TV are the smartest people in the world, including Dr. Oz. I like that. So I can be conspiracy theory when I don't like Dr. Oz. But I love this conversation about health. But, Harry, it's getting late and I'm an old man. And I really, really just have 4 little things.
Okay. I'm happy to do that. But Nurse Heather, do you have anything else to say to him regarding any of the topics? Or?
No, I mean, I'll agree that a lot of the doctors on TV, like Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, like all those, I don't.
Yeah, those guys definitely. Yeah.
They're a little.
Before you go, what part of Canada are you from?
Huh?
I said, before you go, what part of Canada are you from?
She's not leaving. She'll stay for the conversation.
I love Canada.
Yeah, I'm from Vancouver Island.
Oh, I did my 50th and 60th birthday in Montreal. My wife went to McGill.
Roots to Canada. All right. So, what would you those topics you wanted to talk about? What would you have in mind?
Well, they're not necessarily in the same order. And what I'd like to do is just give the topics, and then I'll be quiet, and you can talk as long as you want.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough?
Sorry, can I just say my one last point really fast?
Yes, you can. And absolutely. And I promise we'll get to you.
My question, just like Amber Thurman is her name, correct?
Amber Thurman, yeah.
Okay, my question is, so I understand, what happened to her was very unfortunate, very sad. And that was one example. And I know, a lot of Democrats are for the borders being open. So should we use Lake and Riley as one example? Like, because you guys don't believe all the borders being open is causing any of that. They're both just one examples.
I agree with you. It's anecdotal.
I don't see any connection between Amber Nicole Thurman and Lake and Riley.
That, but it's hypocritical.
What? So explain to me. First of all, Democrats don't support open borders, but before I go into that, please.
Deportation as well, though.
No.
So you think Trump's mass deportation is okay?
No.
Right.
So you don't have to be one or the other, right? There's politics is a lot of gray area, and I don't think there's anything in life that's just you either go all the way or you don't. I'm for deportation when it comes to bad people, right? If you're committing crimes, you're doing things like that, no problem, get out. no problem. And even like there's an argument to be made that if you're at the border, you come here illegally, you get caught, you can get deported. But when it comes to mass deportation, that's an entirely different thing. That's, you know, people who've been in the United States their entire lives, they're working jobs, they have kids here, they might have like a mixed immigration status family, meaning that they have American kids, but they themselves are undocumented. I don't think we should deport people like that. I don't think we should be deporting people who are giving back to their community. But yeah, if you're a criminal, like I have no problem deporting you. So it's not one or the other. I don't know why that would be viewed as hypocritical.
Well, it was just one extreme example to another. But
so I know like you're going there from the Amber Nicole Thurman thing. I just want to point out that like she's the one that is talked about a lot, but you can actually find lists of women, right? So people use her name, but I mean, do you want other ones?
I'm sorry, what?
Jocelyn Barnica, Yennefer Alvarez Estrada Glick, Portia Nyamezi, Nevaeh Crane, Amber Nicole Thurman, Candy Miller. Like, I can continue, right? These are all women who passed away because of the abortion bans.
Yes, and that's unfortunate. I don't agree with that. Like I said, if the mother's life is in danger, then that's fine. And I agree and I understand.
So
I can answer that if you'd like a little bit.
How safe is the abortion pill? That's what I thought you were going to answer when you first came on here.
the abortion pill?
Yes.
So it's 2 medications, and it's usually pretty safe and effective. Yeah.
It's Plan B, correct?
Usually. How long has it been around, though? How many tests are on it? How much research has been done?
Oh, it's been around forever.
Okay.
Both of them. I mean, the one pill, the one medication we use for lots of different things.
Is that mifepristone?
Yeah. No, the mifepristone is the more abortion pill, and the misoprostol is the one that we use all the time.
Gotcha.
And I'm sorry, but also if somebody makes a mistake, and why not just get a plan B? Why? And if it fails, I know that can happen, but it's not common.
No, that is a plan B. You can get them over the counter. I don't know if you can there, but you can here.
I just said that.
Abortion pills?
Yeah,
Plan B.
so the plan B is...
I know what
they're a
plan
little
B
bit
is.
different. So a plan B will basically force you to have your period like tomorrow.
I've had plan B and I've never had my period the next day. I'm sorry. That's to prevent pregnancy.
Yeah, the idea is it forces your body to shed your uterine lining so that a pregnancy can't implant.
That has never happened to me, but okay.
That's essentially.
And that's the point of it.
But can I mention the other 10 people you met? And again, so sorry that those women had to put up with that, but I would never, ever, ever make a decision until the medical record and the whole process that took place from the time the woman knew she was pregnant, from the time that there was an alleged delayed response, and what ultimately happened. And that's all I'd say about that.
Okay. All right. So anybody final comments on any of this stuff?
I'm still dying for my 4 topics.
That's what I know. I'm
But
trying to...
Thank you for your medical input.
Thank you. Thank you.
Seems sarcastic. Jeez Louise.
It's pretty productive. I kind of liked it.
Okay. So anyway, your 4 topics that you...
And
you
again,
wanted to
this
get
is
to.
in no particular order.
Uh-huh.
But just coincidentally today, I happened to see your interview pre-Biden dropping out with Piers Morgan.
Yep.
And then I saw a little bit of the post-election, but it didn't really show a lot with Tyrus and with you. And the only...
That was pre-election.
That was also pre-election?
Yeah, so if Tyrus was there, then that was pre-election.
Okay. All right. My only concern about you is you telling me that Biden could be president today. And I just think that goes to your credibility, because I'd venture to guess you're in the minority there. And that's all I'll say about that. And you can answer it later if you'd like.
Maybe I don't know. I think that in my personal view, I have no problem with Biden being president for a couple of reasons. Number one, he had a neurology report released this year in 2024. It's on whitehouse.gov for everybody to read. They found no evidence. These are doctors from Walter Reed. You know, these are folks who have dedicated their lives to serving veterans, service members, whatnot. These are good folks. They're experts, and experts in neurology conducted this exam. They found no evidence of anything wrong with him. And Republicans also have praised President Biden's mental ability. Kevin McCarthy has. Ted Cruz said that Joe Biden got Republicans to roll over during debt ceiling negotiations. I don't know how somebody who is not capable of doing day-to-day function would be able to do that. I think that speaks to how Republicans have made this more of like a publicity issue as opposed to like an actual issue. And then third, I think this is my only point where I'm biased. I've met Joe Biden. So I've actually interviewed Joe Biden. I stood in front of him. I spoke to him on camera, off camera. He was great. I had no concern there. There was not a moment where I was like, oh, he's lost a step. I thought he was great. So that's
the only thing I would say is I think you're in the minority there, but that's all right. And my only other question, and it has to do with the elections in 16, 20, and 24.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe that Joe Biden got 81 million votes. And I also took great pains in explaining to people, I don't think another president will ever get 81 million votes. And I think the reason was, going back to my conspiracy way of thinking, people hated Trump. Both Republicans and Democrats hated Trump. And if you don't think that they used COVID to get rid of Trump, and all of the candidates, Democratic candidates, bowing out 24 hours before Tuesday because they really figured out that the only way to beat Trump was to put up another old white guy. And they were successful. I give them credit for that. But what I'm more concerned about, you a few other buddies, that if you didn't win this election in 2024, I, myself personally, would do my damnedest to say, gee, what did I do wrong? How can I do it better? Is what we said, abortion is a hot topic, never going to go away. But it was clear that wasn't a one issue vote, because many, many women, if all the women voted strictly on abortion, I think Kamala would have won. And I absolutely believe that. And in this time, I'm just curious, and I'm not curious. I know it didn't happen because the mail-in ballots were not a factor in this. And I think that everything that went on with you, Dean, Parker, so a few other people, I don't even know their names, I really think that you helped Biden get elected. You helped Trump get elected. And I really think that if you're serious about all of this, and the last thing I'm going to say, and I promise you I'll sit and listen till you stop, is I have been very confused as to how you at 22, him at 18, him at 24, became so well-versed in almost everything. And I think you're bright people. I'm not doubting your intelligence. But I think I've decided, and I'm sure you'll disagree, I think you three guys are pretty good actors, and you're able to learn a script.
Wow. So I think
you've learned the script quite well. You spoke. I can't tell half the time who I'm talking to, because you talk and the 34 things, and he graped and he did all that. One, I think Trump was absolutely, positively, politically hammered throughout the whole thing. Not shaking my head, hammered. You get 91, and Colorado trying to take him off the ballot under the 14th Amendment. He was never charged with insurrection to begin with.
Doesn't have to be. Don't have to be.
No, according to
you don't have to be charged with. You don't have to be charged. No, the Supreme Court even said you didn't have to be charged with insurrection to be taken off the ballot. So first of all, I think it's safe to say, thank you, Henderson, for the baby dragon. I think it's safe to say that Nurse Heather has been vindicated. When she said that you are a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, I think she's been 100% vindicated. And I think she'd probably agree. No,
I
Nurse
would
Heather?
be lying if I said that I didn't think the exact same thing.
I think you've been vindicated entirely. So listen, wow. I don't even know where to start with all this. Hopefully, please, when I finish, make sure I've addressed every single one of your points. But I want to go all the way back to, you think that I and Parker and Dean helped get Trump elected. I would obviously disagree. I think that Parker, Dean, and I, and Chris, and all these different folks have did our best to spread information to people, to debunk misinformation about the election, to do our part in trying to have these conversations in front of a lot of people. And I don't think that, in my view, I've seen no reason to think that, that contributed to Trump getting elected. I think it's the opposite. But that's just my personal view. Obviously, I'm biased because I'm me. I have no evidence, and you have no evidence to back up either of our claims. So we just have to leave it at moose.
Other than he won and you guys lost. And
but then if that's the argument, then every single conservative commentator, every single Republican in Congress, every single Republican across the country helped Biden get elected in 2020. If that's the claim that all these people who are advocating on behalf of a candidate, their candidate lost and the other candidate won, they must have helped that other candidate get elected. I think that's just bad logic. No.
I don't. I disagree with that premise. I think that at some point, you thought that everything you would say would sway people's vote. And it's pretty apparent that, I don't care, you call it a landslide, not a landslide, electoral college wins, not popular vote. But he finally gets the electoral college, really nails the electoral college, and now everyone's talking, he only got 49.8% of the vote. The vote, popular vote, has nothing to do with the presidential election. Nothing. So it was a pretty significant win. And I had said,
it wasn't.
You don't think the Electoral College was a pretty significant win?
No, I don't think anything about this election was significant. I think that Trump won the election by 200,000 votes in 3 states.
It's not, okay. And Biden won the same thing. And I kept saying that he was going to beat Harris in the swing states because I don't think she concentrated enough on the swing states.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're still getting all this data in about the election, but overall, I think the claim that me, Parker, and Dean, and Chris all helped Trump get elected, I think that's just absurd. I think it's kind of a crazy conclusion to draw.
Harris elected. It didn't help that. I think,
but I disagree. Who's to say that me, Parker, Dean, and Chris didn't help Harris get more votes? That hypothetically speak, and I don't know. I have no way of knowing this. There's literally no way to know this.
Let me answer
who's to say that there wasn't more votes as a result?
If anything, I think this election was as heated, and people who hated Trump would vote for anybody but Trump. I really would have been put in my place had Harris got 81 million votes. I don't think Democrats stayed away. Oh God, I hate to do this. You're keeping me up. Do you know that 43% of Republicans that vote Republicans, and 43% of Democrats that vote for the Democrat? And I know you'd never believe this, but if the day before the election, Harris said, I'm now a Republican, and Trump said, I'm now a Democrat, they'd still get the 43% votes. And this election, it is the 14% of the independents that swung this. It's not people.
I totally agree that independents swung the election. I'm there.
So we don't disagree that much.
No, we do disagree. No. Don't get it twisted. We disagree a lot. When it comes to data analysis of the election, you're right in saying that independents swung the election, no doubt. But I just want to to circle back to the claim that Chris, Dean, and Parker and I had a role in swinging the independents toward Trump, I think is absurd. I don't think that makes any sense. But I want to get to everything you said. I might be forgetting things you said. So please, again, when I'm done, please tell me if I messed something and you want me to address it. But the claim, so you're asked how did we all inform ourselves? And you think we're actors in scripts. There's no acting. There's no scripts. I've been in politics. I started in politics at a local level when I was in high school. I was around 16-ish, 17-ish years old. I started on a local level. I worked for my state senator, my local councilwoman in my town. I started very local. I was part of like my state senator's youth group, discussing issues that affect like our local community. Then all that got shut down because of COVID. It was kind of around that era. And so I moved, and then I was in my basement, just like everybody else was with COVID. And I saw people talking about politics because of the upcoming election in 2020 on TikTok. And so then I started making videos online. And that's literally how it started. There was no like, oh, I did this or that or whatever. Point is that Parker, Dean, Chris, and I have always been involved in politics. And before our time on TikTok, we were working in politics, or at least interested in politics, to the point that we were reading all day, every day about it. My knowledge on politics started well before I was on TikTok. I was reading about politics. I was reading political books. I was staying up with the news every single day. I still, to this day, read those same news sources every single day. So you're asking, like, how are you informed? How do you know this stuff? It's just a lot of reading, and a lot of years have been spent for all of us into this.
You forget that I grew up in Massachusetts. My mother was not close friends with Jack Kennedy, but close friends to one of Jack's closest friends. She was involved in his run for the Congress, involved in his run for the Senate, involved in that. So I've always been in touch myself. But I really look at these last few years as when Trump got elected, and I think I told you this before, I am absolutely positively, is my conspiracy theory again, and it's not conspiracy. Trump's transition team was investigated. Now, if that's not
for what?
Messing with the peaceful transition of power, for what? Because wait.
The Trump transition team right now is not being investigated.
That's right. They're not now. They were in 2016.
The Trump transition team in 2016 was not being investigated in its entirety. There were individual people who were part of a broader investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. And
like
by the way, some of those people were later convicted for their roles in this investigation, whether it be lying to FBI agents, obstruction of justice, refusing to testify, whatever it might be. But those investigations uncovered a lot. I'm
not sure, again, if you heard me say this, but I've been a lawyer for 40 or 32 years as well. And I do kind of understand the whole system. And you know, one of my best advice that I give people, whether it's criminal, whether it's civil, whether it's divorce, is the more you can stay out of court, the better it is. The more you can resolve it, the better it is. Because once a DA, if it's criminal, gets a hold of you, did you ever hear the term a DA can indict a carrot? So it's not as simple. It's very clouded about how things get to court, who decides to prosecute, when they decide to prosecute.
Listen, you know what? Listen, I know you're about to go to bed, and I have to wrap up the live
12.
soon anyway.
Almost 12.
I know you have to get to bed soon.
One more topic when you're through talking.
No. I know. What I was going to say is I know you have to go to bed soon, and I'm going to wrap up the live as well. But I'm going to invite a lawyer up here to come talk to you just about it as fun as well, because good have professionals.
Well,
so if Law of the Wild's here and wants to come up, you're welcome to do that.
Can I give you a great example of me debating a lawyer? And again, I don't know if it was with you, it might have been with the other two or three, but the biggest argument we had was talking about Marbury versus Madison. And he was right about what the case was about. The outgoing president appointed someone and then he lost, and were they going to force the new incoming administration to take him and so forth? That was the whole case. However, the whole case is read in constitutional law because that's the one case that gave the Supreme Judicial Court the right and the go-ahead that, yes, we're the final arbiter. And this lawyer just, no, you're wrong, and to the point that they, hung up on me, And this is what I mean about, I love sitting here talking with you. This has been a very productive conversation, but I can't be 100% right, but I also can't be 100% wrong. And I think even talking about pregnancy and abortions, I at least gave you some credibility about what I do know. And my last thing, and it's hopping and pivoting, another favorite word to use, is if Trump had stayed elected and got his second term, I have no doubt we would have got out of Afghanistan in a much more orderly fashion than Joe. Much more orderly fashion.
So,
He
first
picked
of
the
all,
wrong air. I don't think there would have been 150 people on a C-17 falling off and dying. I really don't. You do? That's okay.
oh man,
That's on film. You didn't see that?
so
No, I'm also a Vietnam vet, so I know about the helicopters in Saigon and the helicopters.
yeah.
Is there
So-
anything you haven't done?
Not much. Well, I'm 73 years old, so
I'm sorry. I'm just like
Keeps
the
me
more
off the
things you add,
streets.
the lower your credibility goes in my mind.
is that right? That's too bad.
Yeah.
The only lottery I won was the second to the last lottery. Instead of joining the Army or getting drafted, I joined the Air Force. Sat my ass in Vietnam and Da Nang and Thailand and came home and went under the GI Bill, became a nurse. 30 years later, 25 years later, I became an attorney. And now I'm retired, living in Marco Island and loving it. And I'm very happy Trump's our president.
And it's just
See
it's
what
such
happens
a
in 4 years.
it's such a shame you've become so conspiratorial.
Yeah, there's no conspiracy there. I don't have
Well, there is conspiracy because again, first of all, you were saying like, oh, your credibility. I think you've gained
Where's the
credibility.
conspiracy?
The fact that like Christine Parker and I are
I'm giving
actors,
you-
and also you said that like Trump's
I'm giving-
transition team was investigated and that he was politically targeted. And that-
I did write down, and I didn't say it. I've come to the conclusion either you're very, very naive.
you said I was well educated a moment ago.
You are. You are. Well, I gave the a choice of naive being one of them, which I've scratched off. And besides that,
But if you're like putting aside the medical debate we had earlier involving Nurse Heather, because I think you're wrong on a lot of that stuff. And
what's up? What's up? Let's talk about it. What's up?
I'm happy to rehash it, but just let me make my point. I think you're wrong on a lot of that stuff. I think Nurse Heather was right about that stuff. But how can you, as an attorney, number one, and then your conspiracy about like all of us being actors, but then how can you, as attorney, turn around and say, oh yeah, Trump was politically targeted in these cases, like oh, it's 91 felonies. How can somebody get so many 91? How can somebody get so many felony charges in 4 cases? That's absurd. You're an attorney, like you can review these indictments and see that, oh yeah, you know what? God damn, the evidence against Donald Trump is just really strong. Maybe that's why.
And I almost wish that he didn't get elected, so they could have all gone to the Supreme Court and been discharged.
Why? Why would they go to? Why would they be dismissed at the Supreme
I don't
Court?
have the time to go over each little thing, but I'm telling you,
Pick a case.
The Georgia
Pick a
case. The Georgia case would have been thrown out. Okay,
Why? Well, actually, don't let me ask you why. Law of the Wild, please, if you would like. It's up to you.
No.
Through what mechanism would the Georgia case have gone to the Supreme Court?
Oh, because it was a state case?
Right.
Would have been dismissed by the appellate court, excuse me.
Which
Yeah, Attorney General in New York runs on, I'm going to get Trump. The world went batshit crazy when he won, Republicans and Democrats. And they spent 4 years doing everything and anything to convict him. And yes, they for many people that, well, you're going to go to jail for 3 years. You better speak up and talk about Trump. Well, a lot of people went to jail and said, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not conspiracy. That's what happened. And even now, there was an all-out effort. The border. I love immigrants. I have no problem with immigrants. I've got 40,000 immigrants. That's a little exaggeration. 45 redoing my condo under the new bill because of the condo that fell down in Fort Lauderdale, and now it's costing us $30,000 an extra assessment. So I don't have any problem with that. But if you think for the 3 years that Biden and Harris did in so many ways on TV by themselves, don't ask me for a source. I saw it come from their lips. Come on in. We want you in here. Come. And they didn't enforce the laws. And I think a lot of bad people have come across the border. And I think the very first cut should be to look at that, identify it, and fix it. No, I don't think we should rip apart families. I don't think that, again, all politicians say silly things and no one's lying. Harris didn't lie. She was just political. She didn't have any policies. Those are all positions that she'd have to convince.
Hey, Harry, Grandpa Sundowning here. Did you bring me up for a reason?
Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
Sorry.
That really hurt.
So maybe we'll wrap it up
I
here.
think you know what Sundowny is, but that's all right.
Very familiar. Hey, Yo-Yo, remind me, in what class in law school did we learn about the Rulon Shelley's case?
Excuse me, I'd have to research that up. I don't pretend to know every case. Please explain it to me. Maybe I'll remember it and be able to comment on it.
The Rulon Shelley's case, it's like a 1L case that you learn at the beginning of one particular class.
Okay. Contracts?
It'd be
constitutional laws?
Yeah, property law.
What's property? Okay. So again, please explain it to me. I'll tell you whether I know it or not.
I've got another question. In what class did we learn about the statute of frauds?
You think you got me there? One good thing that an attorney knows, especially when clients come in and ask questions about that, say, you know what? I really don't know, but I'm going to take the time to research it. And that's what most good attorneys do. I don't sit here and be able to spit back everything about 7 different areas of law. If you specialize in some, you might get to know more. You might get to spout Mass General Law 93A, Mass General Law 208A. Doesn't mean you're smart, doesn't mean you know about it. But if someone comes with you with a legal question, your obligation to your client is to find out about it. So
so to the chat, I'll leave it to you guys to guess, but I would imagine 99.9% of attorneys that you ask those two questions to would be able to tell you the Rulon Shelley's case is property law and the statute of frauds applies to contract law.
About the written, it has to be in writing in order for via defense, so that's what property law.
Not even close.
You're not
all right, we'll leave it there. All right, Yo-Yo, thanks for coming up, man. We'll have a conversation another day, all right?
And I do think you helped. I don't think you helped Kamal. Is that better? I really don't. I think if you spend more time figuring out how you could be successful, it might help you. Not that I ever want, who knows? I think that if this goes on, I'm convinced JD and Tulsi may have a chance.
Oh, God. Okay, goodbye. Have a good one, all right?
Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard having a chance to the presidency? Now that's delusional. Anyway, Nurse Heather Law, thanks for coming up for that.
Thanks for the midnight snack, Harry. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
That was entertaining. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Have a good one. Wow. Jeez Louise. Valerie, thanks for the $1. I appreciate you. What is he yapping about? I don't know. Bex, thanks for the $5. I'm starting an unhealthy addiction to sending you money. Today wasn't too bad. Yo-Yo was annoying though. Please save your money. Save your money. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your money. Keep it for yourself. I promise. Aaron, thanks for the $1. You are the only creator on TikTok who deserves my last dollar until payday. Love your passion and dedication to the fight. Aaron, I appreciate you so much. That's incredibly kind. Wow, that's just incredibly kind. I appreciate you. Jake, he was a lawyer for the Green M&M. Megan, thanks for the $5. On a real note, your lives helped educate me, and I was able to use what I learned to talk to my more moderate friends. I appreciate what you guys do. Thank you, Megan. Well, I'm glad it helped. Seriously. And then Megan again, thanks for the $5. And Megan again, thanks for the $5. I appreciate you. Reese, thanks for the one saying, let me talk to this guy and Jenna. She seems fixable. I apologize for just seeing that now. Cassie, thanks for the $5. Yo-Yo said sexist things on Parker's Live the other week. I wish I'd have seen that as well. Lisa, thanks for the $25. I appreciate you. They forget that mental/emotional and financial distress caused by an unwanted pregnancy is also life-threatening. It's not just physical. Abortion can be life-saving in all situations. That's also a very, very good point. It's a very good point. Megan, thanks for the $5 again. And Amanda, thanks for the $1. Could you also inform her that 400,000 children are in foster care right now, so give it up for adoption is insane. Well, that too. It's also a very good point. Lydia, thanks for the $15. I don't understand when people value the life of a fetus unless the woman was assaulted, then it's no longer valuable. That's also another good point. Back-to-back good points. Tammy, thanks for the $1, excuse me. We freeze zygotes to preserve them. We can't do that to a baby. That's why they are not the same. I don't even know what that's in connection to be honest. I don't even know. I can't even remember what that's in connection to. I've been so deep in that conversation, man. Jessica, thanks for the $5. My story would stop her in her tracks. I was raped and found it 6 months later. I was pregnant. I went through hell, and abortion was never an option for me, even in a blue city. Again, Jessica, I wish I would have seen that as well. I thank you for sharing that with me. That would have been good to tell that Jenna, I think her name was Jenna, I think. Thanks, Jessica. Lindsay, thanks for the $20. Oh, why can't they just admit it's about control and punishing women for their sinful behavior? That too. Kenichi, thanks for the $5. MAGA really believes Trump is going to get insurance companies to cover IVF when they don't even want to cover anesthesia. Well, yeah, exactly. Blue Cross Blue Shield is like, yeah, you know, if you're under surgery for too long, we're not going to cover it. And they think that they're going to cover IVF. Give me a break. Megan, thanks for the $5 as well. Kylie, thanks for the $2. I'm 28 and decided to go to law school because of how crazy the world is. That is amazing right now. I hope you're doing well in finals. God. Ruby, oh my God, Ruby, I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing this. $100. $100 from Ruby. I appreciate that so much. Saying amazing news resource. Throw some W's in the chat for Ruby for $100, at least at a minimum. I see some of these comments in the in the chat. Those are funny. Throw some W's in the chat for Ruby, at least 100. I hope she's still here. If she is, please make yourself known. But I appreciate it so much. That's incredibly kind. I appreciate you. You are fantastic. Wow, Ruby. Shout out Ruby. I mean, seriously, W's in the chat. Brianna, thanks for the $5. I've learned so much watching your lives and really appreciate what you're doing for this country with Riz. I appreciate you, Brianna. Thank you for watching the lives. I appreciate you a lot. Catherine, thanks for the $3. Democrat from Argentina, where our president might be even worse than Trump. Milei, my God. I made a video about that guy recently. He's terrible. Allie, thanks for the $5. Wish you could show us your kitty tonight, but it's okay. I can always just show you mine. I don't have a pen. Allie, I appreciate the $5. That's JW, thanks for the $5. Why do white people think they speak down on immigration? Let's not forget about that they were immigrants too. White people just stole the land. I mean, all these, white folk came from Ireland, Poland, and European countries not that long ago. So, Russell, thanks for the $2 for completely owning that guy. I appreciate you. Gabby, thanks for the $3. You inspired me to continue my education. I'm on track for getting my associates in physics. Sorry, I can't even fucking read right now. In psych and liberal studies. I don't know why I read physics as psych as physics, but anyway. I am also set on getting my bachelor's in psych with a minor in law and society. That's amazing, Gabby. You're doing so well. I hope you know you're killing it. Samantha, thanks for the $1. Oh, that's all the way back then. And now, hold on. Kendall, thanks for the $5. And Amy, thanks for the $3. Is Trump trying to get rid of Medicare and Medicaid? He wants to. He has tried to defund it every single year of his presidency when he was president the first time. And hold on, just a couple more came in. Almost done, I promise. Michael, thanks for the $1 to all the Swifties. Happy last day of the Eras Tour. That is, I think that's a big moment for a lot of people. Jen, thanks for the $5 as well. Last one. I'm a midwife in community health, and I just want to say thanks for bringing issues around abortion to light. I'd love to be called up sometime to talk about topics related to pregnancy abortion under the abortion ban. Yes, Jen. I think you've been here before, Jen. You brought that to my attention. Yeah, absolutely. We should do that. There's so many amazing people I want to bring up to talk about this stuff. But we should get more people up who could speak on a lot of this stuff. Anyway, listen, ladies and gents, boys and girls, everybody in between. I'm going to wrap up the live there. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. There's other people live. People live right now that I would recommend you raid and watch. Amanda Rose is live. Isaiah Martin is live. They're both doing debates right now. Isaiah R. Martin is a buddy of mine, Isaiah R. Martin. So I would definitely go raid him and say hi. And of course, Amanda Rose is live as well. But let them know, whoever you go to, let them know Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid. Spam the chat with Harry Raid. Let them know that we sent you and that we appreciate you. Sorry for the slightly shorter live. But unfortunately, today is leg day. So it takes a very long time. It takes like an hour and 15 to get through. So I have to go do that so I don't get too tired before I have to go to bed. It's the worst day. It's literally the worst day in my view. So anyway, I'm going to go do that. Raid both of these people, Amanda Rose, Isaiah R. Martin. They're both live. Go say hi, let them know that we sent you. But before you do that, as we talked about, there might be a TikTok ban. So I'm on every single social media platform. I'm on Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, all that stuff. All those links are in my bio. If TikTok does get banned on January 19th, YouTube will be my primary platform. So if you want to go subscribe there, if you have a YouTube channel and are interested in political YouTube videos, there you go. I posted one today. But aside from all that, have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your day tomorrow. It's a Monday, so it's the start of the week. But Mondays are good days. Mondays are good days. Set the tone for the rest of the week. Have a great day tomorrow. And even if your day doesn't go to plan, that's okay. You get up tomorrow, you do the next day, I should say, you get up and do it again. And then you get up the next day and do it again and keep pushing forward and keep persevering and keep being amazing and keep doing all the amazing things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Now I will leave you. I apologize. We'll be back soon. All right. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk soon. And yeah. All right, everybody.